Hi, I'm Jeremy, and I am home on break from college, and I forgot to bring my camera with me. So that's why this terrible webcam quality is what you're seeing. I was just gonna wait until I got back to my dorm to make another video, but there's another Humble Bundle up, and these things are time sensitive, and I really wanted to do another overview video on this one. And there have been a couple in between since the last one I did, but they were weird. They were like, one of them was the Transformers comics, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's such a niche thing, and it's not even a niche that I'm in, that it wouldn't really be much of a point to doing that. But this one is definitely worth doing a video on. If you didn't see my last video and you don't know what the Humble Bundle is, it is a website that sells bundles of either video games or books, usually. Sometimes there's music too, but it's usually video games or books, and they do it every once in a while, and they're all digital downloads. And what makes it interesting, though, is you can pay, as long as you pay a minimum of $1, you can pay any price you want for these. You get the stuff in the bundle. You pay more than the average amount, you get even more stuff. You pay more than $15, you get even more stuff. And all the money goes to charity. It's one of my favorite things. I'm just going to do an overview of the current bundle and make a decision whether or not I'm going to buy it. I'll try to make this quicker than the last video. I really don't like how that turned out. I've already skimmed through it a little bit, so I know more, so I'm not just reading off the screen. And I'm going to tell you, this one I think is going to be worth it. So, this is the Humble Post-Apocalyptic bundle. So this is a genre-based bundle. The last one was all books from one publisher. That made them a lot of them were sort of a similar flair, but these are all in a genre and from various authors, and there's a lot of variety in this one. Now I'm going to first start with the regular things that you can pay any price for. You've got A Gift Upon the Shore by M.K. Wren. This is a novel. It is in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Two women seek to preserve the small treasury of books available to them, a gift of knowledge and hope for future generations. And some good reviews. It seems pretty interesting. They don't say a whole lot, but that seems like a decent premise. And it's got a, no, not to judge a book by its cover, but it's got a kind of a cool cover too. Next, Wasteland, Volume 1, Cities and Dust. This contains issues number 1 through 6 of the Wasteland comics. Yes, comics. This bundle includes both novels and comics. I think that's super neat. This takes place after The Big Wet. I don't know what that is, but I guess that's some event that's the background for the series. There's a barren world, there's survivors, all the basics of a post-apocalyptic thing. You know, this one probably wouldn't stand out for me if it weren't a comic, but as a comic, it's nice that that's included with the other stuff. It's in black and white, but I do kind of like the art style. The character designs seem pretty cool. It's a nice little addition there. Then we've got After the End, Apocalypses. This is a collection of short stories and a variety of just different ways to interpret an apocalypse story. I think it's interesting. It doesn't say specifically who each of the authors are, but it gives a bunch of examples of pop culture type things and why we're so obsessed with the apocalypse now. It's collecting some stories like that. You know, I'd rather honestly get just a novel than a short story collection sometimes, but this is nice. It sounds okay. I mean, it doesn't say much about which the stories are, so I don't know what to make of it, but it sounds fine. Next, we've got Gather, Darkness, and it's like, comma, gather, comma, darkness, exclamation point, gather, darkness! Okay, sorry. It's apparently a science fiction classic. I haven't heard of it. It's by Fritz Leiber. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's a story of Armin Jarls, who's a man on the edge, living amidst the disputes of two rival powers at large in the world. 360 years after a nuclear holocaust ravaged mankind, throwing society back into the dark ages, the world is fraught with chaos and superstition. Okay, it's cool. There's a lot of, like, weird religious elements to it, supposedly. It's got the typical, like, rugged, gritty main character hero, the typical, oh yeah, there's a nuclear disaster, apocalypse happened, stuff's happening now. But the religious aspect seems interesting. It might be... It also that plays along with the whole Middle Ages thing. Oh, it brings back to the Middle Ages. That's kind of cool. So it might be partially criticizing, like, religious fanaticism or something. It sounds cool, and I like the title, Gather Darkness! Okay, anyway. Next is Lightspeed Magazine, July 2010 issue. So I guess this is just a magazine that collects short stories from various famous authors, and this one includes one by George R. R. Martin. I haven't read the Song of Ice and Fire books. I don't really plan to, but that's a big name, and that's why this is on here. And there's other stories too. Could be cool, because it's just like a magazine, these are very short stories. Not going to be a highlight of this, but it's nice. They also have another one of those in the issues of this magazine bundle, the March 2013 issue of Lightspeed Magazine. So, it is what it is. You get it. You're probably not going to buy it for that, but it's in there. That's cool. Next we have... Now, I saw this on here. I don't know why this is in here. I'm not going to complain because it's just like extra, but this is Defiance. This is not a book. This is not a comic. This is a video game. This is a game that's normally free anyway, so I was confused as to why they're putting this in a bundle when it's free anyway. I looked in the description. I guess it's a download of the game, which is free anyway, but also you get DLC. You get the Nomad truck, the Spirit Rider, Hunter outfit, and the two 50% experience boosts. I can't really get into MMO games as much as I used to now. They're way too time consuming. This one didn't really stand out for me either. The only thing cool about it is it's tied in with the current TV show of the same name, that I don't watch the TV show anyway. It fits with the Apocalypse theme in this bundle, but it's just very out of place. It's kind of weird. It's whatever. I mean, it's just an extra. Defiance. And then we get Wool by Hugh Howey, narrated by Amanda Sale. So, an audiobook. I love audiobooks. That's nice that they include it in here. Usually the Humble Bundle, when they do audiobooks, it's just audiobooks in the bundle, but it's cool that they have one thrown in with the other books. So I don't know if this means you get the text and the audio. Probably just the audio if I were to guess, but either way, if you have the audio, you don't really need the text, I don't think. And this one I'll just read the whole description, it's short. This is the story of mankind clawing for survival, of mankind on the edge. The world outside has grown unkind. Too many words, kind. This view of it is limited. Talk of it is forbidden, but there is always those who rise for hope, who dream. These are the dangerous people, the residents who infect others with their optimism. Their punishment is simple. They are given the very thing they profess to want. They are allowed outside. Oh, that's good. That sounds cool. I like that. How I'm an optimist. I like that kind of thing, that they're punishing people for being optimistic. That's very reflecting of our current society, I've got to say. And that's an interesting way to put it. They're punished by being allowed outside, and that really makes me want to read it, or listen to it rather, because you don't know what's gonna be outside. That's cool. I'm just definitely that's cool. I like it. Wool by Hugh Howey. Next, now we're getting into the ones that you have to beat the average for. The average currently is $9.13. My dog's about to bark. I'm sorry if he does. He was just growling. Anyway, if you pay more than $9.13. That average might change. It's always subject to change as people have on. Ziggy, stop. Okay, that's my dog. Anyway, pay more than $9.13. You get these books. You get Futureland by Walter Mosley. This is about a guy who takes these like futuristic drugs which allow him to see a world of fantasy and like crazy cool sci-fi stuff, but it's like destroying his brain. That's a really interesting concept. I bet it gets dark and like really makes you think. I'm interested in that. Next we have, Walter Mosley. I forgot. I did say the author. Next we have After the Fall, Before the Fall, During the Fall, edited by Nancy Kress and Tachyon Productions. So this, I don't know, does it say the author? It's edited by Nancy Kress. Is this another short story collection? Doesn't sound like it. Well, anyway, I love that title. After the Fall, Before the Fall, During the Fall. It's all of it. The whole fall. You get the whole fall. It takes place in the year 2035, so it's dating itself. I'm probably going to see that year in my lifetime, but oh well. The Teslies attacked in 2014. I guess that's their alien race. Destroy the environment. Did a bunch of horrible stuff to Earth. And there's a 15-year-old kid named Pete, and he is our protagonist, and he's very angry about stuff. Ziggy, will you stop barking? There's nothing there to bark at. And then in the year 2013, a CIA consultant does something, and so I guess that's why there's different timelines. That's why After the Fall, Before the Fall, and During the Fall. So I guess it's 3 stories that kind of intertwine. That's cool. That's cool. Maybe each story is written by a different author. It doesn't say. I just think it's weird that they're not saying the author if they're only saying it's edited by Nancy Kress. Well, that's cool. I'm interested in this. I wouldn't say it's like really drawing me in, but I'm interested. Okay, next, The Massive Volume 1, Black Pacific. This is another comic. It's a post-apocalyptic epic. Of course it is. There's a boat that's going from Hong Kong to Unalaska. It makes stops in Antarctica and Mogadishu. And there's ethical and economic concerns. Doesn't say a whole lot, but it's a comic that's interesting. This one is in color. The art style looks pretty good. The cover looks really neat. I'm not really into, like, naval battles, which is what this, I guess, partially revolves around. But it's interesting. I like all of these like the inclusion of comics, which brings us to the next one, which is also a comic or graphic novel, I should say. This is Daybreak by Brian Ralph. And this, I've got to say, I skimmed this bundle before. This graphic novel really caught my attention. The plot sounds like a simple zombie apocalypse survival story, which we've had so many of. It's really overdone, though. I couldn't really think of any way they could innovate upon it until I read the description for this graphic novel. So it has this character, and there's an unseen other character who doesn't say anything or speak anything, but this other character is just saving him and helping him through this. And there's a little preview I was looking at. It's kind of like the way it's drawn and written, it's kind of like he's talking to you, the reader. And I think that's really immersive. That's super unique, innovative. This is really cool. I might pay more than you have just for this alone. I'm very interested in Daybreak by Brian Ralph. Next we have The Wild Shore by Kim Stanley Robinson. It takes place in the year 2047, another year I will hopefully live to. There is a small Pacific Coast community. There's a nuclear attack. It's in the aftermath. There's a young protagonist who dreams of a better world, and he's obviously probably going to bring that world about. And this is the first in a trilogy. Sounds pretty darn generic, but I can't judge the book too quickly. If I do read it, it might end up being better. Then we have Damnation Alley by Roger Zelazny. This looks very gritty just from the cover. The typical gritty action hero dude. But he's... I don't know. I'm reading this. I don't need to read this whole thing. There's some, like, gritty anti-hero. And this is in a part of America where... Boston, actually. And then stuff is just bad. It's post-apocalyptic. It looks kind of cyberpunk, honestly. But, I'll see. The gritty action hero thing doesn't really appeal to me much. But this could be good. I just don't want to read the whole description because it didn't really draw me that in. So those are all the Beat the Average games currently. It says there's more books coming soon. We don't know what those will be. I'm not going to make a separate video on those. I don't think it's really necessary. But there are more coming soon, more to look forward to. Those all sound very good. Well, most of them do, at least. Now, the only thing that's left is the pay $15 or more to unlock. There is The End Is Nigh, edited by John Joseph Adams and Hugh Howey. And this is another one that's not really clear. Well, yeah, this is a short story collection again. Different takes on the apocalypse. Pretty simple. There's another book in this. This sounds a lot like that after the end, different stories of the apocalypse. Could be good. There's such a variety in there, could be good. Then we have Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Takes place in the year 2025. That's only a decade from now. You gotta distance yourselves out more, guys, because you don't want to be like Back to the Future and prove that the future didn't end up being how you predicted it to be. Okay, so there's a woman who begins a fateful journey to her better future. She is not Katniss Everdeen. She is Laura Alamina, and she lives in one of the few safe neighborhoods in the world, and she has a condition that she's very much more empathetic than other people of this time, but that puts her in danger, but she sees the world as a better place. She sounds like an interesting character, so it's very character-driven, it sounds like. Another person dreaming of a better future, but she has, I like the empathy aspect of that. It sounds pretty interesting. Next we have The Strain, Volume 1, Issues 1 through 6 of The Strain. It's another comic. And this sounds like... This is a zombie type thing. They're vampires. Vampires, not zombies. There's a difference. They look like zombies on the cover, but I guess they're vampires. cover looks very creepy, not even creepy, just like gruesome. So this is going to be one dark horror. The art style otherwise, I like the art style a lot actually, but it is very gory. Not super into that, honestly. Looks kind of old-timey setting. It's vampires. If you're into classic vampires, not new teen Twilight vampires. Not there's anything wrong with Twilight. I'm not honestly judging Twilight. I don't really have any opinions on Twilight. But if you're into classic, gruesome, bite your head off vampires, that's what this is as a comic. That's everything in the Humble Post-Apocalyptic bundle. Now to decide if I'm actually going to buy it. I initially didn't want to buy the Beat the Average games because not because they're not good, but because I don't know if I'm going to even get to reading those because I haven't even gotten to the books from the last bundle I reviewed. Yeah, I haven't even started them. But the ones that beat the average sound so cool. So some of the ones the regular sound cool too, but like the beat the average ones got my attention the most, especially that Daybreak graphic novel thing, the weird zombie story. I might beat the average just for that. I really want it. And then Futureland with the guy who takes the drugs that destroy his mind. That sounds cool too. I might have to do it. I was just checking my money on this one of those VC gift cards I have. I have enough for it. I won't have much money left on it afterwards, but I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna beat the average. It's my birthday soon anyway. I might be getting more money from that. Might as well just do it. I don't think I'm gonna pay more than $15. Parable of the Sower sounds good, but I might pick that up separately at a later time, maybe. It doesn't sound good enough to make me want to spend $15. The End is Nigh really didn't stand out to me. The Strain, I would like, but I'm kind of squeamish. I don't know if I could do with all that gore. That's the Humble Post-Apocalyptic bundle. As of now, you have 13 days to buy it. So if you're interested in any of this, check it out yourself. I'll have the link. This is definitely one of the best Humble book bundles I have seen. The post-apocalyptic genre sounds tried and true at this point, but there seems enough variety in this to make it interesting. I definitely recommend checking it out. Thank you for bearing with my horrible webcam quality. Bye!